Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the Agape boarding school. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. In the description box, you're going to see a link to each and every single one of the articles and YouTube videos that we have gone over thus far in regards to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape Boarding School is a Christian-themed boarding school out in Stockton, Missouri that currently, and count 'em folks, has 19 pending lawsuits against them, including physical abuse, emotional and psychological abuse, sexual abuse, and starvation. We also have linked in their change.org Shut Agape Boarding School Down petition. Along with that, you're going to see the pertinent links to a very similar type school that handles, in particular, people with autism and other neurodiverse disabilities. Yep, we're talking about the JRC. We've got all the pertinent links to the Stop the Shock campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, or as I like to call it, over 3 decades of receipts. Also, the templates in the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Folks, when we discuss Agape boarding school, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of young boys, children being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones. Trigger warning, I curse a lot when dealing with these fucking schools, as you've noticed. This is not for children. Please, unless you are monitoring them, nobody younger than 16, and even then, watch, okay? Also, it is 4:36 in the afternoon. I just kicked my own ass again. I'm exhausted, so if I stumble over my words, apologies in advance. So what we're going over, you notice it's a screenshot. I'm going to tell you why here in a second. A second survivor has caught one of my videos about Agape boarding school. A second survivor of this hellscape place, Missouri's own JRC. And they reached out to me having watched one of my videos. I took a screenshot here so that I could cut out their name so that I might protect their identity. If they are okay with coming forward to tell their story, I would love to have them on my show. But until that time, these are vindictive fucking people out here with major victim fucking complexes. Like massive. You think AH is bad? She doesn't hold a candle to these people. And that's really hard for me to say, but unfortunately extremely true. So, I would like to keep them protected if I can. Okay? Alright, so this is what was sent to me and shared with me. Trigger warning. Remember, this is coming from a survivor. I just got home. I was supposed to be at Agape for a year, but my mom took me home on my 4th month after seeing what it's like. The place doesn't help you at all. If anything, it made me feel worse about myself and my life. This really doesn't surprise me. These people are not trained professionals. They have no business dealing with people who may be going through situations, people with undiagnosed disabilities or mental health issues. No business. None. They tend to make things 1,000 times worse, not better. All the staff are angry all the time and take everything out on us. There was a kid named AJ, and you can tell he has special needs. Right? You can probably feel my hackles rising in the air right now. This is what I'm talking about. Well, one day Brother Brian was telling him to do push-ups before he could eat, and AJ is heavier than a lot of people, so he had trouble. So he couldn't finish his push-ups, so Brother Brian and staff dragged him to the door by Brother Brian and Brother Wilkes' table, and we all continued to get breakfast. When I sit down with my food, Brother Brian is just instigating AJ and talking down to him, so AJ threw a napkin at Brother Brian. So Brother Brian tackled AJ through a mag-locked door, and AJ hit his head on the step. God. Then they restrained him for an hour. AJ was screaming, "Get your elbow out of my head, I can't breathe," over and over again. I couldn't even eat anymore. All the staff were either restraining AJ or blocking the door so nobody could see it. I have so many more stories. This place messed me up worse than I was. They lied to my family and separated us. They don't care about you, they just want that $3,800 a month. I hate to do this, but it's my autistic brain. How many people are seeing the similarities between the DESI reports with JRC and what we're reading here? This is what I'm saying. All these schools are the same. They have the same agenda. When I say people look at people like me and the troubled teen industry, when they look at us, we're throwaway people. We're disposable. People can do, in their mindset, they can do whatever the hell they want to us because they dehumanize us and then they monetize us. Let me say that again. They dehumanize us and then they monetize us. Yeah. And if you're angry and you're upset by what I just read to you, you should be. You should get angry. I am tired of seeing celebrity gossip and bullshit all over the news while my brothers and sisters are being tortured, starved, shot, beaten, made to where they can't breathe. I'm over it. This is the news. Do you hear me, media? This is the news. Not made up bullshit to protect some agenda that has no real effect or does any real good in this world. These kids need you. Show up. I'm sorry, I get so disgusted. I have spent years fighting people to try to get victims like this voices elevated. When we do get those few blessed moments on the news, we're lucky if we go viral. Andre McCollins going viral was a fucking miracle. A miracle. And then it was dropped. You have people like Paris Hilton going into these hell schools, and it's barely a blip on the radar. When are we going to wake up and start prioritizing what matters? When? And by the way, I'm not talking about the JD versus AH case. That is different, and I'll tell you why. He's one of us. And she treated him the exact way you're hearing about AJ there. This is what they do to all of us. And I will not back down. Hell will free us over before I back down. Alright, folks, I'm getting a little heated. I'm going to go ahead and close out. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. Matter of fact, we've gotten more trolls more computer glitches, more vocal issues than I have on any of the other videos I've done, including the JD versus AH videos, which are few and far in between these days. So please don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. If my microphone goes weird, folks, if I sound like I'm deep underwater, I apologize for that, but I'm not redoing the video. These are very emotionally draining videos as it is, and I'm doing a JRC video immediately after this. I do appreciate your time, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.